Hi. So I'm going to read something out of my open study Bible. It's some notes down here in the bottom of chapter 3 in First Peter. The role of the wife. This passage describes subjection to her husband as a fundamental responsibility of the married woman. Other roles for women are covered in such passages as Proverbs 31:10-31 and Titus 2:3-5. The wife is to submit to the authority of her husband, not to mankind in general. This does not mean the wife is by nature inferior to the husband. In marriage, two people become one through the joining of their intellects, their emotions, and their wills. To keep their special union from fracturing and destroying itself, one member is charged to lead and one to submit. The wife's submission to her husband is her adorning, which makes her truly beautiful. This inner beauty is of great value in God's sight. The believing woman of the Old Testament who hoped to be the human channel for the Messiah to come into the world made themselves beautiful by being in subjection to their own husbands. This is supremely illustrated in the relationship between Sarah and Abraham. Wives are exhorted to do what Sarah did, to be in subjection to their husbands, letting the consequences rest with God, and, and thus become Sarah's daughters. For the wife who will do this, God promises that if her husband is either an unbeliever or out of fellowship with God, her subjection can be the very means God will use to bring her husband into a proper relationship with God. The wife's subjection may lead to the husband's salvation. So if a woman submits, her husband can come to God through her meekness and humbleness and servitude like Christ. She is Christ-like, and he can see Christ and become a believer. Just like we're called to submit to authority, roles of men that were sent to punish the wicked and to praise the righteous, which it says in the Bible that all authorities were placed there by God, be it they good or bad, and we should follow them. Okay, so a man is supposed to be the priest of his house, the spiritual head, right? Like as Christ is the head of the church, which is the people, the believers. But if he's not a believer, then the woman, through submission, becomes the leader. Like Jesus is a leader through submission of his will to our Father in heaven. See, it seems that the sense that we have in our minds here on earth is oftentimes complete opposite of the wisdom of heaven. Okay, so now that the women are mad, hopefully not, and now that the men are all haughty, hopefully not, let's read the role of the husband. Maybe I should have read this one first. Paul tells the husband to love his wife, Ephesians 5:25, while Peter tells the husband to dwell together with his wife, 1 Peter 3:7. The husband cannot live with his wife, as Peter says, unless he loves her in the way Paul means. The love that the husband is commanded to have for the wife is not primarily sexual or emotional, though both have those concepts, though both of those concepts are involved, it is a love that loves in spite of this response or lack of it in the one loved. Men, we're called to love our wives no matter what their response, as Christ loved us no matter what our response. It is the kind of love that God has for the world, John 3:16, and is the fruit of the Spirit, Galatians 5:22. A husband can only love his wife properly if he is a Christian and under the control of the Holy Spirit. Not mimicking the way of the world, but under the control of the Holy Spirit, men. Not doing what the world says to do in order to get her to love you. That's manipulation. The two responsibilities the husband has in the family are to dwell with his wife according to knowledge and to render to his wife the honor which is due her because she is his wife. When we are the bride of Christ, we are honored with his righteousness. To dwell together with his wife means that the husband must take his wife into every aspect of his life. No more man caves, no more poker nights, no more tearing up town with the boys. That's not honorable. There are to be no areas in his life where there are signs that say private, husband only, wife, keep out. No more websites, no more long showers, no more fantasies. It's a union of emotional. The husband is to perform his duties for a spiritual purpose, that your prayers be not hindered. The man who is not taking his wife into every aspect of his life and rendering to her the honor which is due her because she is his wife cannot communicate with her in the way that God intended. Hence, he cannot communicate with God either. So if you can't talk to your wife about everything and anything, then God is not in your life. To make sure that the channel of communication with God is open, the husband must make sure that the channel of communication with his wife is open. That's what she's telling you. She might be telling you in a different way or for different reasons, but that's what she's telling you. Trying to help you. Only in this way can he truly love his wife as God intended and manifest his headship properly. To manifest your headship properly, you must communicate with God and your wife. Have no private affairs in your life. Sounds tough, right? Well, the easy way will destroy your relationship and your marriage. You'll lose the things that you and your wife worked hard to build. They will be destroyed. And if you have any children, that is a loss as well. So, a woman submits, shows the love of God. A man honors and shares everything shows the love of God. Both sides service the other. Both sides become one. So, still want to get married? Something to think about before you do, or if you just did, now that you did. And if you're still together and the road is rocky, maybe this little discussion here from the Open Study Bible are the shocks to create a smooth ride called marriage. Take it or leave it. I love you anyway, as Christ loved me. Shalom.